Yesterday, we hit the streets of Los Angeles, California, and saw what it was like to be young and homeless. Today, we continue our series, this time in Utah, where Maggie Ruley takes a look at how the state is using a different way to tackle the growing problem.
There's a lot of people when they get stuck on these streets. Some of us lose hope and never think we can get off.
It was cold. I don't know where to go. Everyone that you see is a stranger. I mean, you never know if they're gonna help you or not.
I would define homelessness as a struggle. It's a huge struggle to get by and to not know where you'll be the next day or within the next month. And it really is something that is so hard to build off of.
On a typical night in America, around 500,000 people are homeless. 1/3 of them young people under the age of 24.
They look like any other kid on the street. They just want to be kids. And they're stuck in a situation where it's harder and harder to be kids.
Most of us probably don't even know what to do with our lives yet. Now we're just trying to figure out how we're gonna eat.
Poverty, a lack of affordable housing, and what many call a failing foster care system have created an epidemic.
Don't ever assume that you can't be homeless. I used to think I'd never be homeless, and it happened so fast. By the time you realize you're homeless, it's like, it hurts.
To escape the hurt, many turn to drugs and alcohol.
Everyone at night is doing some kind of drug. And it's real tempting and easy to just, take one hit.
More than 1/3 of homeless people suffer from addiction.
If you walk up down the shelter just one day, someone will ask you black light, which is just heroin or crack.
Outside this shelter in Utah, we meet Aaron Chandler, who's been on the streets dealing with his addiction for years.
My mom's constantly calling the jails, coroner's office and stuff, and it's just, they're just, they're scared, and it breaks my heart. It sucks saying that because here I am, down here, active in my addiction. The only times I never been able to get clean is getting locked up or, thrown to rehab. I've never been able to do it on my own.
Homelessness is a problem across the U.S., and some cities are using extreme measures to address the issue, making it illegal to be homeless, illegal to beg, and illegal for people to give food to the homeless. Traditionally, a homeless person must prove that they're clean and off drugs before they get help with housing. But now other cities are doing something a little different. In a program called Housing First, they're giving homeless people homes and then addressing problems like addiction and employment later.
Get somebody off the street and stable, and then I can start working. Because if I'm on the street, it's a traumatic, chaotic environment. I can't make therapeutic progress if I'm in that kind of environment.
Rob Weseman helps run this temporary home for homeless girls in Utah, a state with one of the highest success rates using Housing First.
We have to accept that whatever the folks have done, whatever our young people have done, they do it to survive.
So here, though, if a young person shows up, they don't have to prove that they're clean or in school or employed, and they'll still potentially have a home here.
Yep.
Giving a chance to girls like 20-year-old Jaimee.
When you first came here, were you still addicted to drugs?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I was addicted to methamphetamine.
Homeless since she was 13.
While my mom was addicted to heroin, and so it just became really unstable.
She moved out and couch surfed with friends.
Would you have been able to come to a place like this if they had said you have to get clean before you're allowed in?
Oh, no.
No?
I probably would have just been stubborn and said, I can't do it. This is the kitchen. We have chalkboard cover.
Instead, Jaimee was given a home, a sense of stability and family. And then she began working on her drug addiction and found a job.
I wake up and I go to drug therapy 4 times a week.
What do you do at night?
I come home from work and I do my chores.
Utah's statewide Housing First program has stood out.
What has the success been like for Housing First here in Utah?
Chronic homelessness is down 90% since we started these interventions.
90%, which means Utah has almost wiped out the problem of chronic homelessness, those who have been living on the streets for more than a year. The chronically homeless only make up 10% of the homeless population, but they use around 90% of available resources.
That was one of the reasons for the focus on those individuals. They've been out on the streets the longest. They're using services all over the place. Ballpark, it used to cost about $20,000 for someone to be chronically homeless on the street. And if we get them in housing, it's closer to $12,000 a year.
Good for the economy and the community. And here at Jaimee's home, the results are similar.
It's not, gee, we're going to move from one assistance program to another. Folks want to do things on their own and be successful on their own. Last year, everybody that transitioned away from the house went on to their own situation where they were paying rent and doing their own thing.
So what's the best part of your life now that you're here?
Being able to support myself and being able to have goals again and being clean and sober.
Maggie Ruley, Channel 1 News.